So you just bought the new cosplay stuff, and maybe you have, maybe you haven't had the earring kits that we have before. But we're going to go through and show you how to install everything that you need with the new cosplay props. We're going to start with our Zumi. As you can see, we've already taken her head off of her body and removed her skull cap. If you look inside, you can see she's got her eyes and she has the earring kit already installed. So she's going to have lots of magnets in her head, but it's still fairly simple, fairly straightforward.
Kat also has the earrings installed. Actually, Kat's one of the first ones to get the no-hole earring kit installed. So hers have been there for at least a year. Still holding strong, still working really great.
Now, you can use the horns or props or whatever that came with your kit or that you ordered to do the placement on this, but if you have already purchased the earring and the body jewelry kit, you have a way that's a little bit easier to deal with because all of the polarities are exactly the same. These are a pair of earrings that we have for one of the other dolls, and the reason why I'm saying it's easier because these things poke out, so you have to hold things in place while you're getting the interior magnet set, and it is easier to do with the earrings because you can set them in place and hold them flat. So we're going to have Zumi have a couple of these stubby devil horns. So we're just like we did with the earrings, just like we did with the belly button ring. We're getting it roughly in position and holding it in place where we want. Then we take one of the magnets, and the reason why we're holding this in place first is to make sure that the polarity is right. The earrings and the horns and the ears, everything that we do, it's all aligned to the same polarity. So just like we did, we're just going to kind of roll the magnet in there and check to make sure that it goes in place where the stud is. When you let go, you can see that it's in roughly the right place, and then we can look at the doll, and let's say we want her horns to be kind of lined up with the top of her
eyebrows.
About center with the top of the eye.
So we are going to be offering these primed so that you can embellish them with whatever paints or techniques that you want to. We will offer with or without the interior installation kit for the 2-part cosplay pieces. That way, if you've already got like the ears installed and wanted to switch out for the horns, you don't have to buy an additional set of interior magnets when you don't really need them.
We've got the magnet in place. We're going to kind of try and hold on to that earring with our finger just to try to keep the magnet in roughly the right spot. Just wad this up into kind of a flattened pancake. Set it over the top of the magnet and push the edges lightly into place. We're not looking for final placement right now. So just like we did with the earrings, we're adjusting the magnet through the putty. You see I'm pushing and prodding on the putty, and that looks like a pretty good spot. So now I'm just going to press down the edges, taking care not to move the magnet. We're just sealing the putty down where we want it. Now we have another earring. We do the exact same thing.
That way you can get them symmetrical and kind of even them up.
Holding it in place again, taking the magnet and just dropping it fairly close, because as you can see, I didn't get it quite close enough. It jumped to the other magnet, so now I have to start over. Okay, so that second one is tricky because of all the magnets that are in there, but now we again get it roughly into place, try and make it symmetrical.
Now, we will warn you, there is a minimum distance that they need to be from each other. Otherwise, those interior magnets are all going to gravitate to each other.
These magnets are very strong. They have to be in order to go through the vinyl of the head and the hair when we get to the ears. So again, we've got our bit of putty. We just knead it up and we put it over the top of the magnet and just lightly press it down just enough to hold it in place. And we make sure that it is adhering. Now we can adjust everything through the putty, just nudging the magnet around until we've got an even. What do you think?
That looks pretty good, pretty even there.
So now we've got it pretty even, pretty much in place, and just give the edges of the putty a press, good firm press to seal it down both sides. Double check your placement that you didn't accidentally move anything while you were sealing it down. And now we're done. We can take the earrings off because they were just markers. Now keep in mind, you've got a little bit of space underneath this lip right here because this skull cap has to go in there as well. We should be okay with this, but press the skull cap in place. Looks like everything's good. We can double check with the magnets again.
Make sure they haven't shifted. There you go.
Still looks pretty good.
Get her wig on.
Jimmy's wig. Now,
separate her fringe.
so now we have our little.
Sumi showing definitely her true personality.
Now we have our little demon girl. Little stubby horns coming out of the front of her forehead.
For these, I'm actually not going to put these in the head. I want these at the top of her head, so I'm going to put these in the skull cap. It's still the same process. About midway back. Drop it in there. Okay, so I've got it about midway on her skull cap. And the sticky putty always works better when you warm it up a little bit and knead it. It makes it stickier.
And the plastic has got static on it.
Yeah. Okay. Just gonna kind of roll that up. Make me a little putty size piece. And again, just kind of, because right now I don't want to make this too firm because I want to make sure that I make it symmetrical with the other side. Again, put that about the halfway mark. Okay. Now, the skull caps on regular are kind of flexible vinyl, so you have to kind of really work the putty into this little space here. That looks about right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to put these over here so I don't lose them.
You do have to be extra careful when you're putting the magnets in the skull cap because if you flex it too much, you might pop the putty off. So,
especially if it's kind of cold. Like I said, you really want to warm that putty up. Make sure it's good and warm. Now you can actually kind of pinch and work that skull cap around if you don't get it lined up perfectly once you install it. I'm just going to kind of double check. Oh, see? Okay. It will take some fiddling to get the skull cap back in because it is soft and you want to make sure that you line it up correctly without moving the magnets inside. I did get it done. Okay, so we have it installed. We've got our skull cap back on. And it's just a matter of kind of finding where they went. And meow. Okay. Meow meow.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have to beg your forgiveness. Somebody, not mentioning any names, has decided that this would be a good time to play instead of doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is recording videos. That is the installation kit for the ears. Now, the important thing to remember is that you don't have to put these where we say. You can put them wherever you like on the doll. But it does take some fiddling. We have tried to make sure that... Okay, that's adorable. We actually encourage you to go with wherever it is you want to place these things. You can put them closer to the front of the head. You can put them on the side of the head. You do need to be careful. The closer you get to the earrings, if you have the earring kit installed, you may get the magnets fighting with each other. But what'd you do?
I put the little stubby horn in the middle of her head. She's on the big camera.
Thank you for watching. We're going to hang up now because somebody wants to play instead of work.
Oh, come on, they're freaking adorable. She's so cute. You're gonna use that in the Be Real, aren't you?